A few years ago, I struggled with English. Whenever I tried to speak, I hesitated, searching for the right words. My grammar was confusing, and my sentences felt unnatural. I spent hours memorizing vocabulary lists, but I would forget the words as quickly as I learned them. I felt stuck, like I was making no real progress. Then, I discovered something that completely changed the way I learned English: reading. At first, I didn't think reading would help much. I assumed it would be boring and difficult. But once I gave it a try, I realized that reading was one of the most powerful ways to improve my English. It wasn't just about learning new words. It helped me understand how English sentences flow, how grammar works, and how words are used in real-life conversations. Unlike textbooks, reading felt natural and enjoyable. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, I started to see them in action through stories. When I first started, I made a big mistake. I picked a book that was way too difficult for me. It was a novel with complicated words and long sentences, and I felt frustrated because I had to check the dictionary every few seconds. I couldn't enjoy the story because I was too focused on understanding each word. That's when I realized that choosing the right book is just as important as reading itself. Instead of picking a book at random, I decided to choose books that matched my interests and my English level. I started with simple, engaging stories that were written for English learners. I also explored children's books because they used easy language and repetition, which helped me remember new words. Later, as I became more comfortable, I moved on to young adult novels and then more complex books. If you're looking for books to start with, there are great resources available. Websites like Project Gutenberg, Goodreads, and online forums for English learners can help you find books that suit your level. Some apps, like LinkU and Kindle, even provide translations and word definitions while you read. The key is to find books that keep you interested so that learning feels fun rather than a chore. One of the biggest benefits of reading was how much it improved my vocabulary. Before, I used to memorize long lists of words, but I would forget them quickly because I wasn't using them in real situations. Reading changed that because I saw how words were used in sentences, which made it easier to remember them. For example, I came across the word breathtaking in a novel. At first, I thought it meant something related to stopping breathing. But after seeing it used in sentences like "the view from the mountain was breathtaking," I understood that it meant something beautiful or amazing. Seeing words in context helped me understand their meanings naturally. To remember new words, I started keeping a vocabulary notebook. Every time I found an interesting word, I wrote it down along with its meaning and an example sentence. I also tried using new words in my daily conversations and writing. This made them stick in my memory much better than simply memorizing definitions. Reading didn't just help me learn new words. It also helped me improve my grammar and fluency without studying grammar rules directly. Before, I often struggled with sentence structure. My sentences sounded unnatural because I was translating from my native language. But when I started reading, I absorbed correct grammar patterns without even realizing it. For example, I used to say, "He go to school every day." But after reading many books, I started to notice that the correct way was, "He goes to school every day." I wasn't memorizing rules about present tense verbs. I was seeing the correct structure over and over again in different sentences. Over time, this helped me think in English instead of translating in my head. Another great benefit was fluency. Before reading, I often paused a lot when speaking, searching for the right words. But after reading regularly, I noticed that my brain started recognizing phrases and expressions more quickly. I could speak faster and more naturally because I had seen and heard so many common sentence structures through books. If you want to improve your English through reading, start small. Don't force yourself to read a difficult book all at once. Begin with short stories, graded readers, or books designed for English learners. Even reading for just 10 minutes a day can make a huge difference over time. Another important tip is to set realistic goals. Instead of saying, "I will read 5 books this month," start with, "I will read 1 chapter every day." Tracking your progress can help you stay motivated. You can even use a reading app to track the number of pages or words you read daily. It's also helpful to make reading interactive. Don't just read words on a page, engage with them. Highlight interesting words, take notes, and try to use what you learn in your conversations. If you don't understand a word, don't just ignore it, look it up and try to use it later. Lastly, enjoy the process. Reading should not feel like homework. Find books that excite you, whether it's mystery, romance, adventure, or nonfiction. The more you enjoy reading, the more you'll improve without even realizing it. Looking back, I realized that reading was the most effective and enjoyable way for me to improve my English. It helped me expand my vocabulary, understand grammar naturally, and become more fluent in conversations. Best of all, it made learning fun. If you're learning English, I highly recommend making reading a daily habit. It doesn't have to be difficult. You just need to find books that interest you and read a little every day. Over time, you'll see a huge improvement in your language skills. What about you? Have you ever improved your English through reading? What's your favorite book in English? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. Keep reading, keep learning, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.